A host chats with male models at an audition, discussing what it means to model. One guy says it's about looking good and walking well. The host then talks to Carl, asking if he's auditioning for a happy or serious brand. Carl doesn't get it, so the host explains. Happy brands are cheap. Serious ones are expensive. Carl proudly says he's for a serious brand. The host tells him to show his serious face to the camera, directing him and the others. They all switch between smiles and serious looks as the host controls them. Carl finally auditions, but the judges aren't impressed. One teaches him to walk to music and relax his brow. Carl leaves unsure of how he did. At a fashion show, Carl starts in the front, but gets moved to the back. The screen says everyone's equal, while Carl's friend Yaya shines on stage, enjoying the attention. One evening, the couple heads out for a fancy dinner. Yaya's putting on makeup when the waiter drops off the bill. She's busy on her phone, so Carl nudges the bill towards her to make her notice. Instead of seeing it, Yaya thanks him, assuming he'll handle it. She's all smiles, enjoying the night, while Carl feels uneasy. He grumbles that she's leaving him no choice but to pay, especially when she's already thanking him for it. Yaya, surprised by his reaction, sarcastically suggests splitting the bill based on what each of them had. Carl tries to explain he wasn't implying that, reminding her she said she'd pay today after he covered yesterday. Yaya argues she thought he'd pay because he picked up the bill. Carl insists he only did it because it had been sitting there for ages, but she didn't notice. Yaya claims she didn't see it, but Carl thinks she's making excuses. Upset, Yaya tries to leave, drawing attention from other diners. Carl stops her, and she reluctantly offers to use her card, making him feel guilty. He tries to stop her, but she's determined in her frustration. Embarrassingly, her card doesn't work, so Carl ends up footing the bill. As they head home, the guy questions why talking about money is touchy in their relationship, wondering if it's because of gender roles. Yaya admits she finds it unattractive to discuss money, disappointing Carl. He argues he wants them to be like best friends, where they're kind and generous to each other. Left speechless, the driver advises Carl to fight for Yaya if he loves her, or else he'll be her servant. Following the advice, Carl joins Yaya in the elevator and refuses to leave until they sort things out. He tries to explain that while he likes paying for dates, he sometimes feels taken advantage of. Yaya reacts by listing what she's done for him, like inviting him for dinner and letting him stay at her hotel. Carl reminds her that he paid for dinner, but Yaya insists she'll pay him back for everything. Carl doubts her sincerity, since she kept the 50 euros change instead of giving it to him. In response, Yaya pushes the 50 euros into his chest, which angers him, leading to a heated argument. The couple decides to take a break. That night, Yaya admits to Carl that she can be manipulative without realizing it. Despite earning more, she confesses to ignoring the restaurant bill on purpose, wanting to see if her partner can take care of her. She fears not being able to work if she gets pregnant and sees being a trophy wife as her only way out. Carl realizes their relationship is just a business for Yaya, who profits from their public image as an influencer couple. They both agree to go along with it for now, since they like each other and it's good for business. Still, Carl believes he can make Yaya genuinely love him, which she smiles at. One day, they're invited on a luxury cruise to promote it on social media. The head of staff, Paula, instructs her team to fulfill all guest requests, no matter how strange, to earn good tips. While taking pictures on the rear deck, a crew member suddenly strips in front of Carl and Yaya. Carl feels jealous, seeing Yaya smile at the guy, though he denies it. He later complains to Paula about the crew member's behavior and asks to see their engagement rings. Paula shows him a 24-karat gold ring. When Paula reveals the cost of the engagement ring, Carl falls silent. Then, she calls the captain for a safety drill, but he refuses to come out, claiming illness. In the dining area, Yaya and Carl join a table occupied by a Russian oligarch named Dmitry, his wife Vera, and his girlfriend, Lyudmila. Dmitry notices Yaya pushing her food around for photos, so Carl explains it's for her influencer content. Dmitry becomes intrigued, learning that influencers earn money or freebies, like their cruise tickets. He boasts about his fertilizer business in East Europe during the 80s, monopolizing the conversation. Yaya and Carl have no choice but to listen. At another table, an elderly couple, Clementine and Winston, sit with Therese, a woman with a speech disability. They repeatedly introduce themselves, but Therese doesn't respond until her husband explains her condition. Later, Carl feels guilty when he sees the crew member leaving, fearing he may have been fired because of him. That night, Dmitri notices Yarmu eyeing women passing by and jokingly suggests he's on the prowl for a date. However, Carl's smile fades when Yaya agrees to take a photo for the stranger. Yarmu's demeanor softens when Lyudmila invites him to join their photo, and he surprises them by offering to buy Rolex watches, revealing his wealth. Meanwhile, Paula attempts to schedule the captain's dinner, but he refuses to discuss it until she insists, mistakenly agreeing to hold it on Thursday despite Paula's objections. Dmitri grows weary of his girlfriend flirting, so he whisks Lyudmila away. Yaya asks the stranger to dance, but he declines, leaving Carl feeling uncomfortable as he retreats to bed, leaving Yaya alone. The next day, Vera engages in conversation with a staff member named Alicia in the pool, sharing regrets from mundane jobs and muses about the unfairness of life despite being born wealthy, insisting on equality for everyone. She then orders the entire staff to join them for a swim, much to Paula's frustration as they're busy preparing for the captain's dinner. Despite Paula's efforts to dissuade Vera, even involving the vice captain, she relents, unable to reach the captain. In the evening, as guests arrive for the captain's dinner, a severe storm hits, causing chaos and leading to debates between Thomas and Dmitri over socialism and capitalism. As the boat battles the storm, guests sustain injuries while the debate between Thomas and Dmitri blares over the intercom. Some guests don life vests for safety, while the cleaning crew tackles the mess in the dining hall. Thomas critiques Dmitri's greed over the intercom, attributing it to his privileged status, contrasting it with the world's suffering. Despite this, Thomas believes there's goodness in Dmitri. His vice captain urges him to stop airing such views, but Thomas continues, arguing that the wealthy often justify their actions, even resorting to philanthropy to ease their conscience over tax evasion. In an attempt to silence Thomas, Paula inadvertently cuts power to the ship by tampering with the intercom. The following day, the waters calm, only for the ship to be attacked by pirates who throw a hand grenade that Clementine and Winston pick up. Tragically, the grenade detonates, claiming the couple's lives. The pirate seize control of the ship, and hours later, Carl, Yaya, Dmitri, Paula, and Yarmu escape, finding themselves stranded on an island. The first night on the island is terrifying, with distant howls echoing in the darkness. Fearing the unknown, they retreat to the shore, forgetting about Therese, who remains immobile. The next morning brings hope as they spot a lifeboat, with Abigail as the lone survivor. Paula immediately orders her to serve food and drinks to the guests without checking on her well-being. Abigail works tirelessly to catch fish for dinner, including an octopus, but no one knows how to clean it or start a fire, leaving her to handle everything alone. Despite her efforts, Paula objects when Abigail tries to share the meal she prepared, reminding her of her role as a cleaning lady and the obligation to serve guests. Abigail asserts her authority, declaring herself the captain of the island due to her survival skills. She commands the men to sleep outside to tend the fire and watch over Therese, while the women sleep in the lifeboat. However, Dmitri and Yarmu secure spots in the boat by trading their expensive watches. Meanwhile, Nelson and Carl discover a pack of pretzel sticks in the bag Abigail left behind. Planning to take only one stick each, they end up consuming the entire pack. The next morning, Dmitri finds his wife's body washed ashore, mourning her loss, but ensuring to keep her jewelry. Abigail confronts Nelson and Carl about the missing pretzel pack, and though they deny taking it, she finds the empty wrapper, exposing their lie. As punishment, Abigail decrees that the boys will go without a share of food, asserting her authority as the island's de facto leader. That night, everyone enjoys the fish Abigail caught, except for Nelson and Carl. Yaya notices Carl and Abigail exchanging glances, igniting her jealousy, leading her to storm off. After Yaya's departure, Abigail asks Paula to tend the fire and invites Carl to sleep in the lifeboat with her, surprising everyone. While they suspect Abigail's intentions, no one speaks up. Before entering the lifeboat, Carl bribes Yaya with a pack of pretzels from Abigail, seeking advice on handling the situation. Yaya, consumed by jealousy, can do little but cry. Since then, Carl has been sleeping with Abigail in the lifeboat every night, responding promptly when she signals with a whistle and sharing his food with Yaya. Although they don't openly acknowledge their intimacy, Everyone is aware of the situation, turning even the whistle into a subject of jest among the men. Days go by, and the men attempt to hunt. They capture a donkey, but struggle to kill it swiftly, resorting to repeated blows as they listen to its agonizing cries. Meanwhile, Carl and Abigail continue their nightly rendezvous. Concerned about the other's feelings, Carl confides in Abigail, expressing his growing discomfort. Abigail suggests being honest with the group, but Carl worries about their acceptance, especially given Abigail's profession. Offended, Abigail asserts her contributions to their survival, insisting on deserving certain privileges. To improve their situation, Carl proposes acting like a genuine couple in front of everyone, even offering to talk to Yaya or end their relationship if Abigail agrees. However, Abigail refuses to interfere in their relationship, leaving the decision to Carl. The next morning, Yaya interrupts their discussion to borrow Abigail's backpack for a hike. Abigail volunteers to accompany her for safety. During the hike, Yaya acknowledges Abigail's efforts on the island, including her skills in taming the older men. Back at the camp, Therese encounters a local beach vendor but struggles to communicate due to her disability. Feeling uncomfortable, the vendor leaves, leaving Therese feeling helpless. Meanwhile, Abigail and Yaya reach the opposite side of the island. Yaya is thrilled to find an elevator, realizing they're stranded near a luxury resort. While Yaya eagerly wants to explore, Abigail hesitates, asking Yaya to wait for her while she goes to the bathroom. However, Abigail secretly plans to harm Yaya, fearing she might reveal the elevator's existence. As Yaya's back is turned, Abigail grabs a large rock and approaches her with lethal intent. But just as she's about to strike, Yaya, oblivious to the danger, offers Abigail a job as her assistant in gratitude for her efforts. This unexpected offer gives Abigail pause. Meanwhile, Carl frantically searches the woods, ignoring the scratches from thorny branches in his desperate attempt to find the two women.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and stay connected with us.